to Fit to Speak from the Archives. I'm Eugene Obah, glad as ever to be with you. Today, for the first time since our special report aired, we speak exclusively with Terrence Woods Sr., who provides insight on his thoughts over the last 5+ years that his son, Terrence Woods Jr., has been missing. Terrence Woods Sr., father of Terrence Woods Jr., he joins me now. Mr. Woods, welcome to the show. I wish that we were meeting under better circumstances, but I think that it is very important that the public hears from you about your son, about this case, which has been going on now, that by the time we air this, will have been over 5 years and close to 5 months since your son has disappeared. So I want to ask, first off, really, take us through this time, this 5 years and 5 months. Take us through that. How have you been feeling, and what has been the impact throughout this time?
Well, it's been a loss, although every day I have to go on, I cannot stop. So I have to keep going on. I have to act myself in front of others at work, abroad. But overall, inside of me, when I'm driving by myself or I'm alone, the void of my son being here is torture. As I always tell people, it's like a cancer. You have it, but you have to deal with it. Mm-hmm. And that's all I can do daily. But with my belief in God and my family that's behind me, that gets me through it daily. But it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. And I will never get over that.
Terrence Sr. talked further about how his faith in God keeps him going, but he also talked about sometimes questioning that faith.
The questioning of God in the beginning was definitely a question in my heart. You ask yourself, why? And then family members, others, they explain, God put no more on you than you could bear. But at the same time, they're not the one that's bearing it. And human nature take the best of you at times, because overall, my son is missing, and with all the faith I have, with all the faith that people around me have, my legs get weak, no matter what, and I could smile, laugh. They say laugh from crying. And I have to do that daily. Because overall, I still have to be strong. I still have to work. I still have to smile in front of coworkers' face, family members' face. But I have to walk away, and then I deal with the reality of, my son being missing. I'm not going to say the loss of my son because my son is still here. That's like I have had individuals say, would you like to do a memorial on him? And for his birthday every year, they say, let's celebrate his birthday. Well, there's nothing to celebrate because he's not here. And I appreciate and deeply, appreciate everyone that offers that. But it's no memorial. It's not, Terrence is not here right now. So I don't wish this on anyone because I don't know how someone else would handle this. Myself, I don't even really know how I'm handling it. Because often when I'm by myself, I can hear my son call my name, Dad. And I'll sit on his bed and talk to him. Man, it's time to go to work. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I got to get ready for work. Then I have to take a shower and go to work and turn on a whole different channel within myself. Mm-hmm. Good morning. Hey, how you doing? Sometimes they're good days. Sometimes people at work make work harder for you, but you still have to deal with your obligations. Mm-hmm. And in respect of where you are. So at the end of the day, when it's time to come home, people are clueless what I go through. And you can have family members, loved ones, friends that are there for you. But at the end of the day, they're not feeling what you're feeling because they are still going home to their lifestyle. Every day I walk in my house, I see pictures of my son. If you call my name, My son, we have the same name. Can't duck from it. I have my son portrait on my arm.
Yeah.
You know, his bedroom is the same way it's been since the day he left to go on a trip, you know, September 30th, 2018. So much of him that's here that other people can turn off when they go home, although they still think about him, still pray for him, but they can still go through a large portion of their day doing a whole lot of other things, where at the end of the day, I have to deal with him because I have to see everything in my house that's still here of his. I have to hear someone call my name. So I can never turn him off, but I still have to be strong enough for him and my youngest son, because if I give up, we'll never find the truth out. And we're gonna find the truth out. I guarantee you that. Whomever had something to do with anything pertaining to him not being here, justice will come their way. Because I'm not gonna give up, not at all. No matter how much it hurt me, no matter how much I have to relive it, no matter how much I have to speak about it, I'm not gonna give up on finding the truth out about my son.
Exactly. We must continue to find the truth about your son's disappearance and to really know where he is. Where do you think Terrence is? Do you think that right now he's in some sort of place or something of that nature that, you know, he can't get out of?
I think he's in a situation that he can't get out on his own.
Yeah. What kind of situation do you think it is?
Maybe, as I stated from the beginning, maybe he saw something, heard something, and when he said he wanted to leave, whatever it was, they didn't want it to leave with him. And because of that, I think he's somewhere against his will. I just hope he's not suffering.
You know, I want to go back to the days leading up to your son's disappearance. You had dropped him off at Reagan National Airport
On September 30th, 2018.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, he was working for Raw TV as a producer.
Yes.
They were doing the Discovery Channel show Gold Rush, a spinoff of Gold Rush, Dave Turner's Lost Mine. And the production was in Montana and then moved to Idaho. And I want you to tell me, Mr. Woods, about a chain of texts that, you know, you had with your son throughout that point, especially the last one, because it's my understanding, and, you know, I've been talking to you in the weeks leading up to the airing of this program, that you believe that that last text in particular did not originate from him. Could you tell our viewers more about that?
Well, like I said, on September 30th, that's when he actually left to go on a trip. Everything was normal. And I spoke with him once he arrived. Now, mind you, this was not his first trip that he went on. So it's not like he would call me every second of the day, every day. You know, he would text me periodically, Dad, I'm okay, or call me in the middle of the night or something. Just say, Dad, I'm okay. You know, and he would send me pictures. Like one time he was in Africa, he sent me a picture of his big hotel room and it was 2 beds. And he had clothes on one bed and he was jumping on the other bed. This time around, I received no physical footprint of him. You know, I have no pictures of him in Montana, no pictures of him at the airport, no pictures of him in Idaho. Mind you, everything you hear in regards to Terrence revolves around less than 24 hours in Idaho. He was in Idaho. They arrived there on the 4th. They went to dinner. He allegedly met a young lady there. So everything was allegedly going good. That's in Idaho now. The very next day, he got up and allegedly they said he had some type of anxiety attack.
Mm-hmm.
Well, pausing on that and rewinding, He was in Montana from the 30th up until the date that they got to Idaho, and no one speaks anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a timeline of 4 days, 5 days in Montana. No one speaks about breakfast, lunch, or dinner. No one speaks about where they might have went or where did they go. But in less than a 24-hour span in Idaho, you have a full story.
And it is some aspects of the story that has been reported by some of the outlets, and in the context of this case, going on the mental health aspect of it for just 1 second, you say that it's been reported that your son allegedly grabbed a drone out of the sky, that he was acting strange, that he had problems with his family, that he ditched his radio in the dirt and he ran down the side of a cliff like a hare, and they say multiple witnesses saw this. What do you when you see this kind of stuff? What's your reaction to that?
Someone should definitely get a award for the show that they put together, the story they put together, because you have such a great story in less than 24 hours. He meets people in Idaho that he never met anywhere else. He opens up to them. Okay, what happened in the 5 days in Montana? He didn't meet anyone there to open up to. He didn't meet anyone in 5 days to tell him he had problems with his family. But he go to this little place, and where they were doing the shoot was less than 201 people. And he met people there that he opened up with. And then everything goes south, really.
And there was a report that he met a woman at a restaurant. We haven't heard anything, at least to date, about that part of it.
Well, the report on everyone that he allegedly met, I have not spoken to any of them. The people tell me he met a young lady in Idaho. When I asked the person's name, I have not received that as of yet. People said he told a lady on the shoot, the lady that owned the RV company,
Mm-hmm.
he befriended her.
I think they were doing the transport, was that?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And he befriended her in that small period of time and told her he didn't get along with his family. And then he had to go to the bathroom. And then that's when he dropped his radio, etc.
And ran down the cliff.
Like a hare. Well, he's running like a hare down a 70-degree angle cliff, and it's dark, but he dropped his radio, no light or anything. He doesn't trip, fall, or anything. But everyone else that ran after him, when they came back up, they were bleeding, their clothes was ripped. But when it came down, dogs came there, they didn't smell a trace of him or find any ripped clothing of his. But allegedly, it was a path going to the road, they believe, with no physical evidence, word of mouth only, that someone, no physical fact that it was him, someone could have been at the end of the road. At this point, there's no physical evidence. Everything is hearsay, word of mouth, hearsay, word of mouth. How do an investigation go only on hearsay, word of mouth, with no physical proof of anything? Where do we do an investigation like that? On a person that's of color?
And going on to a person of color, your son, in fact, even looking at this 911 call, they said that he was someone of dark complexion, which we know, looking at him,
it's not him. So even if you put out a 911 alert via the 911 call that came into the precinct, if we're looking for a person of dark complexion and my son is standing right next to you, you will bypass them because that's not who you're looking for. So when I asked, how can you all say that he was dark complexion, the whole story changed and said that a person that was in the woods whose house they went to to use his phone, he made the call and reported it. Well, I just asked another question was, if I'm in my house and someone have an accident outside of my house and ring my bell and we speak the same language, I cannot tell everything that happened at the accident. So how can you knock on a man's door that never seen my son since my son is missing? He's allegedly missing. So how can this man say if my son is light, dark, psychedelic? And if you're standing right there next to him, why is he telling the story and everyone speaks the same language? Why aren't you telling the story? That's your coworker. So why is somebody whose door you rang the doorbell, how can he tell the story? And you allow him to tell the story if it's not true? And there's nothing in the police report that states anyone said anything different of its color being darker or lighter. But that's the story they ran with.
And I know you've tried to obtain that police report, right, from the Idaho County Sheriff's Office, who are doing this investigation, who, you know, it's debatable whether or not this is still active or not. You know, I reached out to them when we did our special in October of last year. I never heard back from them. But what do you make of what the Idaho County Sheriff's Office has done up to this point?
Idaho Sheriff Department have not done anything. Lied to me. Agreed to everything that the people my son allegedly was working with. They collaborated with their story, but they haven't done anything. Anytime I call, we got to get back with you. Anytime I call the Department of Record, the case have not been closed. It's still an open case. If anyone called them and asked them if it's an open case, what have you all done lately? We're not acting on it at this point.
Which is why you haven't been able to obtain the police report or the 911.
Exactly. You cannot get any information, direct information, because it's an open case still under investigation. Therefore, anything that's a part of the investigation, they cannot give you. Like when I asked them, you don't have to give it to me, but if my son entered that hotel and left out of the hotel, just let me see the footage of the video. That's a part of the investigation. If my son allegedly went into a store, and I went in the store when I was there and it had cameras in the store, it's under investigation. Okay. Well, show me a picture of my son with the crew. They posted pictures on Facebook of them in Montana. My son was allegedly with them in Montana. They didn't say anything went wrong in Montana. They didn't say anything about my son having a mental breakdown, physical, nothing. So show me some footage of him in Montana. No physical footprint of him. No footage of him. They don't even conversate about Montana. Mm-hmm. That's not even a subject that they won't even speak of. There's multiple stories out. If you pull my son's name up, multiple stories that all these people took bits and pieces from the Idaho story and they're running with the same narrative. He had a mental breakdown. He this, he that. But no one speak of Montana, and no one have any information from friends of his that went to school with him here in Maryland, London, but they have everything with individuals that just met him and they know so much about him.
And say that, he has, mental breakdown, problems with the family, this sort of stuff. And you're telling me right now, and you're telling our audience right now, that there has been absolutely no history of any mental concerns, mental breakdowns, anything about that from your son. Because obviously you know your son better than anybody.
My son have not had any mental breakdowns. I told them they could subpoena my son's medical records from Kaiser Permanente, from his doctor. I don't have a problem with that. When they told me the fact that my son allegedly went to grab a drone out of the sky, well, I'll I asked this question. If he went to grab a drone out of the sky, why didn't you all send that same drone up in the sky to try to track him? Since you all was running down a cliff, the same drone that he allegedly tried to grab, that you all said, Terrence, don't do that. It will cut your fingers off. Why didn't that drone go up in the sky to track Terrence?
And where's the footage of that?
That's not a subject or answer that I can get. No subject that anyone is even speaking on. Because it makes what? Too much sense.
Mm-hmm.
Too much sense.
So this has been in your mind, just an invented.
It's in my mind every day, because this is 5+ years ago, and we're at square one. We're at square one. I've been on Dr. Phil. I've been on Access Hollywood. I've been on multiple talk shows. We're at square one. And everyone and every show that I've been on, oh my goodness. And after I leave that show, I don't hear anything from anyone. I've been on Fox 5 News. The story they told was everything pertaining to what people in Idaho said. They didn't have any information about him at the University of Maryland. When his professor said, when Terrence walked into class, everyone smiled. We don't have that. They didn't dwell on his awards, his books, they didn't, but everything was something that was negative that they received from Idaho or the people he was working with in Idaho. Wow.
Why do you think that the negative so much has been, part of the story? Why do you think that is?
My son used to always tell me, Dad, don't believe everything you read in the news. And I used to laugh at it. The stories that sell are the worst stories that you can give. People don't want to look at good. They don't dwell on good. When you look at the news right now, 90% of the news, all you see is murder, murder, murder every day. But how many shows you see with a news channel dwelling on positive, especially positivity when it comes from us of color? If we out there robbing, carjacking, it's on every channel. We're stealing, it's on every channel. But how many shows every day, or half of their show, dwell on people of color that's doing good? Wow. They dwell on my son, a dark complexion person, not my son. Person that had a mental breakdown, etc., not my son. His younger brother graduated, went to college, got a CPA license, does auditing for the PNC Bank, bought his first house at the age of 26 years old. You don't hear anything about that. You don't hear nothing positive revolving around my son or his family. But someone, for whatever reason, created a story to blindfold you, because that's just another person of color. When I spoke to them about it, they said, oh, well, he was from the inner city. My son never lived in the inner city. When my son was born, when he was a child, I didn't even let him watch any show that had guns. He couldn't have a G.I. Joe with a gun. I literally bought all Disney videos for him, and I still have them up to this day. VH1, the big ones. He can only watch Disney movies. Barney, Disney, every original Disney movie that was out that I had. That's all my son could watch. I didn't even let him watch violent shows. So that was not even what I was showing him. But that's what they want to portray him as. He's from the inner city. He ran like a hare. Why? Because he was black. All black people run fast. My son had $300 inserts. He tripped walking up the steps, but he ran down a hill at night and didn't touch the ground. Wow. I don't think Michael Jordan can do that.
I mean, and thinking about like narrative, right? Thinking about the narrative that has been put out there about your son's disappearance, the circumstances, such as they are. in terms of what has been said about Idaho and all. You and I have talked. You've said that much of the narrative seems to really be from the lens not just of Idaho, but of Simon G, who was the producer on, of Raw TV, who was on site during the filming when your son disappeared. You were supposed to have met in the immediate aftermath of your son's disappearance. You were to have met with the entire crew.
Yes.
But then only Simon
exactly
was there. Tell our viewers more about that.
Well, first of all, when I got the call and I spoke with Simon, his whole conversation was that of my son did not live up to his expectation. Now, mind you, my son is the one that's missing, and you're calling me to tell me my son is missing, but you start the conversation off with, your son was highly recommended. And when he got here, everything changed. Oh, my son is missing. I sent him to the store for me to buy me some fruit, but he didn't know what kind of fruit to get me. What do that have to do with my son missing? There was nothing positive this man had to say about my son. Even once I got to Idaho, everything was negative. Nothing positive. The rest of the crew, I haven't met any of them. Up to this point, they said it was not a criminal investigation. Therefore, there was no reason for me to talk to them. I asked a simple question. If I'm at work and I go out with my coworkers, and for some reason, God forbid, I don't make it home that night, the first thing your family will ask, who was he or she with? It was no problem. Mike, John, Teresa. You would not come out and the first thing that come out your mouth, I'm not giving you any information because it's not a criminal. Who said anything about criminal? If he's with his co-workers, what the word criminal even came? Why did you even think that? He was at work. Mm-hmm. I'm just asking, who is he with? It's not a criminal investigation. But all the other people are gone.
We haven't heard from them.
They haven't called me, haven't emailed me, nothing. The young lady that he allegedly met, haven't spoken to her. Raw TV keep making statements that they're helping. They have not helped me get a private investigator. They have not reached out to me to see what's going on. Well, he was at work.
And they're responsible.
If you're at work, the individuals that you are working for, the company, they're responsible for you. No one has shown any responsibility to me in regards to my son. So what help have you given me? What help? So how are you helping me?
Right. Like Raw, again, we make the point that the company, I don't care what company it is responsible for, your staff. Where has that been? And this is what you're reacting to, at this point, is that where has been the responsibility?
It's like it never happened. And that's why everyone keeps trying to paint this picture, a negative picture of my son, so people could just walk away from it. Oh, he's just another. No, he's not just another. He is somebody. And everything that they're saying, that's not my son that you all are talking about. You're clueless of who he is. Clueless. His friends smile and laugh with him. I speak to some of his friends on the phone and they come, one of his friends sent me texts that he sent her. She was like, I don't know who that person is they're talking about. Neither do I. They don't even know who that person is. That's what they've created. And that's what people are running with. That's what people are running with. Which is sad. Because, like I said, if you go to work and you're having a mental breakdown, nervous, your job should shut it down and get professional medical assistance. Who was there to deem my son had a mental breakdown, anxiety attack, anything? What documentation you have from a professional person to tell me that? And then if that was so, why did you all take him out in the field? And then if that was so, when he allegedly went to grab a drone out of the sky, why wasn't he put in a vehicle and taken out of the field immediately to the nearest hospital or back to the hotel? Wow. But I'll let my coworker go through that and leave him out in the field. And then when he allegedly disappeared, we don't go all out to try to find him.
Because it's like, wouldn't somebody at least, even if he did have a mental breakdown or whatever, even if he did, then yeah, wouldn't you think, from those guys, wouldn't you think that somebody would go out there and actually help? Because if I was, like I've been on crews, at all, throughout the years I've been, in this whole media industry, and I know that if I saw somebody
having a meltdown,
or
whatever,
that's all right, the first thing I would do is get some help for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's why it's like, it's hard to believe. Then individual Simon G said, at one point, I even asked your son to get me a battery for one of the cameras, and he was green. He didn't even know what battery to get. Really, man? That wasn't my son's first rodeo. That wasn't his first rodeo. My son have done shoots on his own, out of the country. Out of the country. No one speak about that. Mm-hmm. No one shows clips of him in Africa. No one showed clips of him here. That we don't speak about that.
Even at University of Maryland, and all, we were supposed to be one-man bands, and all. So that
no one. You hear nothing about them even talking about the University of Maryland. Nothing that revolve around anything positive. We don't hear anything about it. But the man-made story, everyone has so much to say about it. Wow.
Now, Simon, do you think, and we have, admittedly, we have no evidence to suggest one way or another, but do you think he's covering something up in this case? You're going to hear Terrence Sr.'s response to that and a lot more in the second part of my exclusive interview with him on a special Thursday edition of Fit to Speak from the Archives. And let me tell you that this is an episode that you do not want to miss, because there is going to be major developments that Terrence Sr. says have occurred in the time since our special. So do click subscribe right now and ring the bell on this YouTube channel so that when the show drops on the 7th of March, you'll be the first to see the episode. I also want to strongly, emphasis on strongly, encourage all of you watching this program who have any information as to Terrence's whereabouts or know what happened to Terrence to go to crimeredefined.com/contact, where you'll be able to connect directly to Mehul Ajaria and Dion Mitchell, who appeared on last week's edition of the program to provide details on their planned independent investigation as to Terrence's disappearance, which they are crowdfunding. But that can only happen with your support. That's right, we need you. We need everyone, all of you watching this program, whether you've watched us from the beginning or you're just coming into our program. We need all of you to saddle up with us and get behind helping us solve this case. We really need all of the help that we can get in order to provide the Woods family the answers they justly deserve. Now, Mehul and Dion on the show last week said that even with small incremental raises towards the $40,000 goal, it'll be nice to get to the $40,000 goal, but even without the $40,000 goal, some of the work, some of the investigatory proceedings, especially the forensics into Terrence's camera and Terrence's laptop, which I said on the special, we said on the special, that this could really be one of the few things that can break this case wide open. That kind of stuff can commence even before the $40,000 is raised. Now, every little bit helps. to really provide Terrence Sr. and his family the answers that they deserve. So please visit gofundme.com/investigating-the disappearance-of-Terrence-Woods. I know that's quite a mouthful, so we do have the link in the YouTube description below. And in that link, there is the detailed step-by-step action plan that will be executed upon. It is the only GoFundMe account that has this level of detail that Mayhol and Dion have put together as it pertains to this case. And it has a video of Terrence Sr. So please do check that out. I really, really need everybody watching this program to get behind this stuff right here. And even if you cannot donate to the GoFundMe page, do share it. Share it with your friends, share it with your family. Let us really help the Woods family get answers. You can make the difference in this case. You, me, all of us can make a difference. And we can make a difference in the lives of the Woods family. So I hope you'll be able to join us and let us bring closure once and for all to the Woods family. Thank you so much for watching. In the meantime, don't forget to follow us on all of our social media accounts, including our Substack page for the exclusive Common Sense newsletter and to support all of the work that we do here. Finally, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell on our YouTube channel so that you do not miss any of our episodes. Until next week, I'm Eugene Obah. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, the best things in life are worth saving.